Be honest with me. Have you ever made a wish and immediately regretted it? Blown out birthday candles and wished for something you weren't totally sure about? Now imagine that wish actually comes true. Every time. No exceptions. But the second it's granted, a clock starts counting down somewhere on your phone. And when that clock hits 0, you're dead. No warning, no way to stop it, no way to undo the wish. That's the premise driving Netflix's newest K-horror hit, If Wishes Could Kill. In this video, we're covering everything: the premise, the cast, a full episode-by-episode walkthrough, what that ending actually means, whether a season 2 is happening, and my honest verdict on whether it's worth your time. Spoiler warnings will be clearly marked, so stick around even if you haven't finished the show yet. I'll tell you exactly when to look away. Let's get into it. If Wishes Could Kill, original Korean title Girigo, is an 8-episode YA horror series that dropped on Netflix on April 24, 2026, all at once, in true binge format fashion. It's directed by Park Yoon-seo and written by Park Jung-sip, and it stars Jeon So-young, Kang Min-ah, Baek Sun-ho, Hyun Woo-suk, and Lee Hyo-jae as a group of 5 high school friends at the fictional Seorin High School. The setup is deceptively simple. One of the friends stumbles onto a mysterious app called Girigo. The pitch is irresistible. Tell the app what you want, and it delivers. Doesn't matter what it is: money, popularity, revenge on someone who wronged you, even bringing back a feeling of closeness with someone you've lost. Girigo makes it happen. But nothing here is free. The moment a wish is granted, a red timer appears on the user's phone. A visual countdown that starts ticking the second the wish comes true. When that countdown reaches 0, the person who made the wish dies. There's no version of this where you get to enjoy what you asked for. The horror isn't just be careful what you wish for. It's your wish comes with an expiration date on your life, and you don't get to choose how long. As the body count starts climbing, the surviving friends realize this isn't some random glitch or urban legend. Girigo has a history. It traces back to a tragedy that happened at their own school years earlier, involving a student named Kim Si-won, the daughter of a local shaman. Figuring out what actually happened to her, and what she has to do with an app that's now killing her successors, becomes the emotional and investigative backbone of the whole series. The tagline Netflix used for the marketing was blunt and effective. Got a wish worth dying for? And honestly, that one line tells you almost everything you need to know about the show's tone. Let's talk about where this show actually sits genre-wise, because I think that context matters a lot for whether you'll enjoy it. If Wishes Could Kill lives in a very specific and increasingly crowded horror subgenre, the cursed technology thriller. You've probably seen other entries in this space, things like Choose or Die or Red Rose, where some digital object or app becomes the vehicle for a supernatural curse. It's a clever setup because it lets horror writers update old folklore rules. Don't say the name 3 times. Don't accept a gift from a stranger. For a generation that lives on their phones. Instead of a cursed VHS tape or a haunted mirror, it's an app icon sitting quietly on your home screen. What makes If Wishes Could Kill stand out a bit from that pack is how heavily it leans into Korean shamanism as the actual mechanism behind the curse, rather than just using it as set dressing. This isn't a new move for Korean horror. 2024's Exuma became a massive international hit partly because of how it treated shamanic ritual and belief as something powerful and central to the plot, not just spooky window dressing. If Wishes Could Kill is clearly riding that same wave, and it's part of a broader trend. 2026 alone saw shows like Battle of the Fates on Disney Plus built around real Korean shamans in a reality competition format. Shamanism is having a real moment in Korean media right now, and this show is one more example of that. Structurally, the series blends 3 ingredients. First, teen school drama, friendship, jealousy, first love, the social hierarchies of a Korean high school, all the normal stuff that makes YA content work. Second, occult horror rooted in that shamanistic tradition. Rituals, cursed spaces, spiritual sacrifice. Third, a ticking clock thriller structure, where each episode escalates the stakes because someone's timer is always running out. The tone that results from mixing those 3 things is interesting. It's not relentlessly grim. There are lighter, almost K-pop adjacent character beats sprinkled throughout, little moments of humor or cuteness between the horror set pieces. Some reviewers have actually pointed to that tonal whiplash as the show's biggest weakness, Saying the shifts between cute teen drama and person dying horrifically can feel a little jarring. Others think it's exactly what keeps the show from becoming an exhausting, one-note grimdark slog. I'll give you my take on that later. Before we get into the episode-by-episode breakdown, let's properly introduce the 5 friends at the center of this whole thing, because the show is really built around their relationships as much as it's built around the curse itself. Yusea is, for my money, the emotional center of the show. She's the one who ends up rallying the group once people start dying, and a lot of the show's tension comes from watching her try to hold everyone together while also trying to actually solve the mystery of where Girigo came from. The marketing leaned heavily on her too. That teaser poster of a girl standing in a school hallway with a cracked phone is her. Choi Hyung-wook is the friend who gets pulled into Girigo first. He's the one who makes the initial wish, and his behavior starts changing in ways that unsettle the rest of the group before they even understand why. He's effectively the audience's entry point into the horror. We watch the app's influence take hold of him before anyone around him realizes what's happening. Kang Ha-jun is connected to a shaman sister, and that relationship becomes crucial once the group realizes they need actual spiritual expertise, not just internet sleuthing, to understand what they're dealing with. There's a sequence where Ha-jun brings Seiya to his sister, and it sends Seiya into what's described as a cursed space filled with fear, trauma, and abandonment. One of the show's more visually ambitious horror sequences. Kim Jeon-woo and Lim Nari round out the friend group. Without spoiling exactly what happens to each of them, I'll just say, this is a show that is not shy about thinning out its cast. Not everyone makes it to episode 8, and the show uses those losses to keep raising the emotional stakes rather than just treating deaths as shock value. There's also Kim Si-won, the shaman's daughter whose death years earlier set this whole curse in motion. She never appears as a current-day character, but she's arguably the most important figure in the entire show. The mystery of what happened to her is the mystery the whole series is built around. Okay, I'm gonna walk through the season episode by episode. I'll flag the point where spoilers get heavier, so if you want to go in mostly blind, this is a good spot to bookmark and come back to after you've watched. Episode 1 opens with Girigo granting Choi Hyung-wook a wish. He gets what he asked for, but his friends notice something is off. He brushes off their concern at first, but his behavior keeps getting stranger. This episode does a lot of quiet, patient work establishing the friend group's dynamic before things go sideways, which pays off later because you actually care about these people before the horror ramps up. Episode 2 is where the show announces itself as a horror series and not just a mystery drama. A sudden tragedy hits the group, and Yusea realizes that Kim Jeon-woo might be the next target. She tries to rally the others to find some way to stop it, but they quickly learn that Girigo isn't something you can just delete your way out of. This is the episode where the red timer mechanic really sinks its teeth in. Once you understand the rules, every scene where a character checks their phone becomes tense. Episode 3 shifts toward the occult side of the story. Trying to find a way to fight back, Kang Ha-jun brings Seiya to meet his shaman sister. What follows is one of the show's standout sequences. Seiya is sent into a kind of cursed liminal space, visually representing fear, trauma, and abandonment. It's less about jump scares here and more about atmosphere and dread. And it's the point where the show fully commits to its shamanic horror identity rather than just being curse app. Teens react. Episode 4 turns into more of an investigative episode. Ha-jun, Seiya, and a character named Bangwol dig into Girigo's actual origins, tracking down an online contact connected to Hyung-wook. That search leads them to a house that seems to hold real answers about where this all started, which, of course, ties back to the Kim Si-won tragedy. Episode 5 follows a wild night out for the group that takes a dark turn. Lim Nari stumbles onto a terrifying truth during this episode that changes the group's understanding of what they're actually up against. From here, episodes 6 through 8 escalate quickly. Without giving away exact plot beats, the back half of the season is where the show pulls together the mystery of Kim Si-won, pushes the friend group toward direct confrontation with the force behind Girigo, and forces some genuinely difficult choices about who can be saved and who can't. This is also the stretch that critics have flagged as a little uneven. The investigation drags in spots even as the emotional stakes keep climbing, which is a common note across several reviews. But most agree it regains momentum heading into the finale. Alright, full spoiler zone starts now. If you haven't finished the show, This is genuinely your last chance to pause and go watch it, because I'm about to talk through the finale in detail. Still here? Okay, let's get into it. By the time the season reaches its final stretch, the surviving members of the friend group have pieced together the truth about Girigo's connection to Kim Si-won's death and the shamanic forces tied to it. The finale pushes hard toward what looks like a genuine resolution. The survivors believe they've found a way to actually close the loop on the curse, rather than just escaping it themselves. There's real catharsis built into that ending. After 8 episodes of loss, the show gives its remaining characters something that feels like closure. And then the mid-credits scene completely reframes everything. A new, previously unseen character finds Lim Nari's phone. With help from a mysterious online contact, they reactivate the Girigo app. That's it, that's the scene. No dialogue explaining who this person is or why they're doing it, just the quiet, chilling implication that the app is live again, and a new cycle of victims is about to begin. It's a classic. This isn't actually over ending, and it's clearly built to set up a second season. It also recontextualizes the entire main season slightly. The survivors think they won, but the audience knows they didn't, not really. The curse doesn't care about their victory. It just needs new desperate people willing to make a wish. The other loose end worth calling out is Nari's own arc. Her storyline heading into the finale is left in a spot that a lot of viewers, myself included, found frustratingly ambiguous. It's not clear-cut whether she survives in a way the show wants us to feel good about, and that ambiguity has been one of the more divisive points of discussion since the show came out. Some read it as intentional, unsettling ambiguity that fits the show's theme of nobody really escaping the cost of a wish. Others read it as a dropped thread that needed one more scene to land properly.